Welcome to Yeti.Set.Cook. Today we're making Kouign-Amann 2 ways. Kouign-Amann is basically the salted caramel version of croissants, and it's known as being the fattiest pastry in all of Europe, and I think it may just be the king of all pastries. To start off, we're going to make a seasoned salt by mixing 2/3 cup sugar with 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, and this is the thing that's going to bring out that salted caramel flavor, and it's going to melt in the bottom of the pan to become a caramelized crust on the outside. This is such a good combination because we all naturally like sugar, and salt just helps to enhance that flavor and makes anything salted, sweet, just mind-blowingly good. Let's melt 1 tablespoon of butter and brush that into our cupcake pan and sprinkle a little bit of seasoned sugar into each spot. And we're going to evenly coat the walls and the floor, and this is going to be the release mechanism, and it's going to give us that creme brulee-like shell around our Kouign-Amann. And you can go ahead and pop that cupcake pan in the freezer until we're ready for it. Also, let's not be wasteful, and let's recollect everything that's fallen out to use it for dusting the dough later on. Now it's time to preheat our oven to 375 to be ready to cook these pastries. In the meantime, we're going to be getting these pre-made Pepperidge Farm puff pastry sheets ready by sprinkling the counter with our seasoned sugar, laying the pastry dough on top, and then another layer of the seasoned sugar on top, passing the rolling pin gently over the top to press the sugar into the dough. While rolling, flip the dough over a couple times to make sure you are getting even coverage on both the top and the bottom. It should look just like this, like you just snowed on your pastry dough. Cut your pastry dough into 12 equal pieces, and we're going to fold them by pushing the 4 corners in towards the center and squishing it down into the cupcake pan. These pastries aren't meant to come out exactly perfect, so you can play with the shape and you can make them how you want. You can see here how I'm experimenting with a few different shapes, and I even tried some with a spaghetti cutter. Toss them in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes, or if you like them well done like me, you can go and instantly fall asleep for an extra hour, and they'll come out looking like this. But if you don't fall asleep, you'll be treated to these beautiful golden brown, light, fluffy pastries. These kiwi manicotti are light, flaky, buttery. The salted caramel is there. It creates a nice shell on the bottom. I think the dough leaves something to be desired for. It's a little bland. I think we can make it way better by making our own pastry dough. That's what we're going to do next. Let's make our own dough by adding 1 cup of warm water to your bowl and adding 1 tablespoon of sugar and 2 teaspoons of yeast. We're going to whisk that together so it's well combined, and we're going to let that sit for 5 minutes to let the yeast activate. Melt 1 tablespoon of butter, add 2 cups of flour, toss in a little pinch of salt, about a teaspoon's worth, and add the melted butter to it. Now you're going to want to mix this together into a very sticky dough. Don't do it with a whisk, it's just going to clog up your whisk. Do it with a nice wooden spoon. Turn that out onto a heavily floured surface with about half a cup of flour. And we're going to start just coating that with flour, slowly working it together, turning that into knead until it's all combined and smooth. Now while we're kneading that, let's talk a little bit about the difference between this dough and a classic croissant dough. The main difference is a croissant dough normally has milk. It's usually a 50-50 water to milk ratio. But here we're doing only water, and also we add a little bit of melted butter, because more butter is always better. Also, this dough will be folded more times. Normally croissants have a 3-fold and then a 4-fold, which gives you 12 layers. Whereas this one, we're going to fold it in a tri-fold 4 times, which is going to give us 81 layers total. And the reason pastry dough is even folded to begin with is it creates these layers of butter and dough, where the butter melts and gets all buttery, but that also helps create steam from the water in the dough, which creates crispiness. I know that's a little counterintuitive, but steam and baking actually helps crust, and that's going to give you light, puffy, crispy, buttery dough. We're going to let that rest for 30 minutes to an hour, and while we're doing that, we're going to be making our seasoned sugar the same way we did before. 2/3 cups of sugar to 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, and we're going to melt another tablespoon of butter and prepare our cupcake pan. And the reason we use cupcake pans here instead of a croissant, where you'd normally just bake it on a normal baking sheet, it's going to catch all of that leaky butter, which is going to give us a more buttery Kouign-Amann, and it also is going to turn that sugar butter combination on the outside into a layer of salted caramel creme brulee like shell. And it's also going to heat up the edges, which makes it crispy, a bit like eating the corner piece of a brownie, how that's always better. To start making our buttery layers in our pastry dough, we're going to roll it out to be fairly flat, and we're going to take a ice cold frozen stick of butter, and we're going to cheese grate that into little shreds and sprinkle that evenly across the whole layer of dough. The reason we do that is because it's a lot easier to make a flat layer of cold butter than if we were to chop this into little pieces and try and add it that way. It's just a lot more efficient. After we do this the first time, we're going to let it chill for 30 minutes, letting the gluten rest and the butter re-solidify. And then we're going to pull it back out, roll it out again, fold it once, roll it out, fold it again, roll it out, fold it again. So that's one time before chilling it, and 3 times after. Once we do that, let it rest for a while, about 10-15 minutes. Now we're going to give it one more roll, but this time we're going to sprinkle our watch surface with our salted sugar, and we're going to sprinkle the top of it as well. And we're going to continue sprinkling more on top, continuing to roll it out until we get to about 1/4 inch thickness in total. Make sure you heavily sugar both sides, because that's what's going to bring out that salty sweet taste. Trim off the edges of your dough so that it's a perfect rectangle, and cut your dough sheet into 12 evenly sized pieces. Just like before, we're going to fold the 4 corners in together and gently squish them into the cupcake pan to make our shape. Here I tried to roll some out flatter and cut them into spaghetti shape, which it worked out, but I think it's best to just go with the original. Now these go in a preheated oven at 375 for 25 to 30 minutes. And once you get them out, you want to remove them immediately, otherwise they will get stuck in your pan and never come out. Once they're out of the pan, give them 15 minutes to cool, otherwise that hot, melty butter is going to burn your tongue. I really think these are the king of pastries. They have so much going on. They are buttery and rich, yet they are light. They are sweet and salty, they are crispy and soft. You really get a mixture of everything good in the world mixed into one compact pastry package. It's amazing. I really suggest you go try these. At least try with the pre-made pastry dough. It's quick, it's easy, but if you want something mind-blowingly good that you may never have had before, and this will beat any bakery's version of this, go out, try it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider hitting that subscribe button and leaving a comment. And there you have it. There's 2 ways to make how do you say this?
Kouign-Amann. Kouign-Amann.